What up, guys? JP back at you once again, bringing you guys day number 14 in my 13th annual 31 Days of Horror, a series in which we watch and review 31 horror films in 31 days, all during the month of October, leading right up to Halloween, and continuing along with day number 14. Before I even get into the review, I did want to just mention that this movie is extremely graphic in a sexual nature, so just keep that in mind if you're ever interested in checking this film out. It is very hardcore. So the film in question today is a film called Amityville Vibrator from the year 2021, directed by Nathan Rumler, written as well. Gotta say, I think one of the coolest things about this film is the tagline there, which is, "For God's sake, get off." What brilliance that tagline is. So, a little backstory on this film a little bit. It was a couple of years ago. I saw this film making the rounds in like the horror news sites, because, as you know, the Amityville name has taken on a life of its own. Pretty much any independent filmmaker these days has to do an Amityville film. It's almost like a rite of passage at this point, because everyone and their mother has made an Amityville film in the indie community. And at this point, I just think it's really funny and fun. This particular Amityville film, I remember hearing about, and then at Living Dead weekend here in Pittsburgh area at the Monroeville Mall where Dawn of the Dead was filmed. The director of this film, Nathan Rumler, was there, and I met him and bought a copy off of him, and I haven't watched it. But I've met him a few more times at Cinema Wasteland and different places. Very cool guy, so I was interested in checking this one out. This film basically opens up, I believe it's supposed to take place in the Amityville house, where one of the Amityville characters from the original, like, DeFeo murders, is masturbating with a vibrator, and that's when she gets killed by the DeFeo. Was it Robert DeFeo? One of the famous murders that took place at the Amityville house before the Let's Move In. And as you know, with most of the sequels to Amityville, like the original sequels, it became like a cursed object film. And the vibrator is one of those cursed objects, which I thought was extremely interesting. It is actually pretty cool. So after that, these two girls end up buying this vibrator at a yard sale, and then basically a bunch of graphic sexual acts occur, and then there's also two characters who are investigating the vibrator from a different location, like in a van. And the one character is played by Nathan Rumler. So that's basically your plot. You have it's not a very long movie. It's about an hour. This Blu-ray here is actually pretty packed with special features. There is a director's extended XXX 666 cut, which I think, don't quote me on this, but I think the runtime was like an hour and 6 minutes and like 6 seconds or something like that, which is the 666 cut. I noticed that when I didn't even realize there was an extended cut on here until after I finished the movie. I went to go look at the special features because I was just like, dude, what the fuck did I just watch? And I saw that additional cut. So I did actually throw on the extended cut, which, from my knowledge, there is a sex scene involving two women that is the key difference, I want to say. But yeah, man, there is close-up genitals in this movie, from women's to men's. I gotta give Nathan Rumler credit, because obviously this is a very exploitive film. It's an exploitation film. And there's a lot of women in this film that are very sexualized. Um, and, you know, asking these actresses to do these things, you know, it's takes a lot of like courage to do that on screen, in my opinion. And Nathan Rumler actually shows his own penis in the film multiple times, which I give him credit for, because if you're willing to ask other people to do it, are you willing to do it yourself? And you know, I give him credit. You know, that's pretty ballsy. You know, so I like that about it, because it made it feel equal. You know, it didn't you know, it's obviously a super sleazy movie, which is sort of the appeal of it. But there's actually a little bit of cleverness to it as well, particularly even in the extended cut. I thought one of the most interesting, like, clever things was, and I didn't even get it the first time watching it. I didn't get it until this extended cut, which is stupid because I'm pretty sure I heard somebody talk about this before. But essentially, there is a sex scene where they start listing off Amityville titles to to like past Amityville films, like, oh, I'm about to reach my vanishing point, you know, and you know, there was even one like Amityville Karen's in there. Like, I thought it was really clever, and I cannot even believe that I didn't even notice it at first, but it's so obvious on second watch, when I was watching that extended cut. But yeah, besides that, I do think that this film probably started, and I think it did in the special features. It's like one of the things is called like the joke that went too far. I assume that is basically Nathan talking about how he came up with this idea for the film as just like a joke because of all the Amityvilles that were coming out, and like basically, you know, what is the most ridiculous thing you could come up with for an Amityville title? Which, I mean, at this point, there's literally Amityville in space, Amityville Shark, Amityville Island. Like, there's a million of them. But in reality, I think Amityville Vibrator is one of the coolest ideas. Uh, so, also, there is, I'm pretty sure that there's a scene where the two take mushrooms. I'm pretty sure that they actually take mushrooms. I'm not, because it does say on here that real drug use, and that's the only drug use I could think of in the movie. But without even reading that, before I even knew it, watching it, I felt like they actually took mushrooms. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well. But also included on the bonus feature is another movie called Gay for Prey, which Carly has seen and said it was pretty decent. Yeah, this movie is super like low budget. There's actually some half decent effects in there. There's particularly one stabbing sequence that has it's cutting to back and forth between someone getting stabbed, like the knife penetrating, to an actual like vibrator penetration thing, which I thought was pretty creative, and kind of gross, you know. There's some funny stuff with a puppet in there. That you can obviously see the strings, which I thought was charming. There's it got a little bit of hiccups in terms of like actual like editing, production, like that side of things. There's some parts where the film quality drops or dips, and then there's like some audio inconsistencies, which you expect with films that are basically made for no money. Some of the shirts that what Nathan was wearing in the film were cracking me up. I think there was one that was like "fuck your racist grandma" or something like that. But yeah, I actually found this movie very like enjoyable, just because for one, it's just so absurd, and there's like so much nudity and stuff in there, that it's just like, wow, you know, what am I watching? Am I watching a porno here, or am I watching a horror film, or what? But Yeah, I think even if I had never met Nathan, I still think that I would have found this one kind of charming, because it's really like at the end of the day, it's like kind of commenting. It's like self-aware, and it's like kind of commenting on the glut of Amityville films that we've gotten so far. So yeah, what do you rate Amityville Vibrator? I do want to check out some more of the special features on here. Like there seems to be like a basically an interview with Nathan talking about the film and stuff like that. But I liked all the actors and actresses, specifically the girl who was Nathan's partner. I thought was really good. But yeah, it was fun. I actually enjoyed it. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I think that's a very generous and fair rating. But just keep in mind, this is a no budget, like do it yourself type of movie with tons of graphic nudity in it. So might not be for everybody, but I like sleazy stuff. You know, as Dave Parker says, we have our own pervert cards because we like perverted movies. So yeah, you know that I like a good sleazy film every once in a while. This is among some of the sleazier stuff I've seen. So, yeah. With that said, I will recommend it if you've never seen it before. I think you could still pick this Blu-ray up. I think I've seen him selling it at Wasteland, limited to 1,000 copies. Oh, I also really like the music choices as well as the opening credits on the paper, like hand drawn credits. I thought that was pretty cool. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.